Good morning, Laser Beam students. I'm going to show you guys a couple things about Google Docs that might help you out with your self-edit and peer edit. The first thing we're going to do is make sure that your font size is 12. So here I have my essay sample that I shared with you guys. All you're going to do is highlight the entire paper, the whole thing, and go up here to my font size. I'm going to make it 12. That's it. So now the next thing I need to do is make sure the font is in Times New Roman. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. This larger box right here has all the fonts. You have to find Times New Roman. Everything you turn into me from now on needs to be in Times New Roman. Next thing to do is make sure my name is in the upper left-hand corner. So all I do is write my name. Perfect. I need to make sure my title is centered. Also, make sure your title is not larger than the rest of the paper. It needs to also be 12 point Times New Roman. You guys are going to have to hit this more button up here because your Google Docs is going to look different because of the size of your screen. So you're going to have to hit more, and you're going to probably have to find this center justification and put it right there. The next thing you need to do is make sure that your essay is double spaced. So again, I highlight my whole paper. You guys are going to have to hit this more button because you certainly won't see it on your tiny little screens. You're going to find the button that looks like this, and when you hover over it, it says line spacing and it has this up and down arrow. Select that and hit double. Now you might have a couple extra spaces in between your paragraphs. Make sure you go in and you get rid of those. It needs to look exactly like mine does right here. You probably just heard my dog. He's sitting next to me snoring because he's a big, sleepy baby. Next thing you need to do is make sure that each paragraph is indented. You do not do this by using spaces. You do this by this key on your keyboard that says tab. So at the beginning of every single paragraph, hit tab, and it should look just like mine. Next thing we need to do is make sure your essay doesn't say I believe or in my opinion. You guys are going to have to do that one on your own. Then you're going to have to make sure all spelling is correct. So read it out loud to yourself. You can use my little telephone if you need to. And then you look for any little red lines also, because Google will let you know when you spelled something wrong. So let's look. Do we see any little red lines? Here's one right here. What you're going to do is you're going to right click and it'll ask, problems? Did you mean problems? Why, yes, Google, I did. And then make sure you reread that sentence. One reason is that using electronics and multitasking causes focus problems on and off computers. Google's not always right, so make sure that you reread. I think that's all that you're going to need to know. You're going to need to make sure there are 3 to 5 sentences in every single paragraph. There are 2 spaces after every period. Make sure that the first word of every sentence is capitalized, so it should look exactly like mine. One problem I've been noticing with you guys is the space before a comma or before a period. The punctuation always comes immediately after that last letter. I think that's all you need to know. Feel free to watch this video as many times as you need to, and make sure your paper looks identical to mine. And if it does, then you're ready for Mrs. Perry to edit it herself.